I am revisiting something really big right now in my business, and I wanted to share that with you. So, what keeps coming up again and again for me in sessions and in podcasts and in my own healing journey right now is my G center, which is undefined. And I am starting to sense because, one day last week, it honestly came up in six conversations in one day. And so I'm starting to sense that this is really big for a lot of us. So if your G is undefined or if it's defined, either way is going to be really important for you to dive into what that means for you. So there's just the center in and of itself, but then you can dive in and get all the flavors that are unique to you. And that's what I love about human design is it's like, oh, it's this, but also it's like all these other categories that fall into place also. So, especially I think if you're deep feeling, or if you're also feeling like this need to constantly reinvent yourself, and I think that's what was part of it for me. Um, Honestly, one of the pieces that stopped me in my tracks, I have a 1-4 profile line, so I'm like always seeking out more. Like I cannot stop that, like seeking more information, but I was sensing like, am I telling myself that there's something left to find whenever I actually just need to continue to embody and experiment? And then I was doing this research for a session I have coming up next week, and I saw this line and I was like, boom, there it is. It was, I lose orientation when I'm not in an energetic relationship with something. Um, so for me, sometimes, it's Memorial Day weekend. So it's like engagement in this group could be lower, right? And so if I don't have something to engage with, for me, I can feel very deflated and very much like, all those like gloomy gusts feelings start coming in or whatever. Um, and then on top of that, when your G is undefined, like you kind of require it's like let me go back a few steps. When I came to human design and found out my G was undefined, I was like, what are you talking about? Like I've made it a point to know who I am, so how do I like not know who I am? Well, so I don't have consistent access to the energy there. Um, which is basically something along the lines of um I've been talking to people who have this undefined, and so the language that keeps coming up is like you're a chameleon, basically. And you can see when your center is undefined and you look over at someone else that you just kind of have this energetic, like, I wish mine was like that. It's usually because they are defined there and you aren't. And you might have that information or you might not, but I guarantee that that's definitely a component that's taking place. And so with this G, especially in social media, like when I look at people's content, whose G is defined, like when you look at their content, if it's on Instagram or whatever it is, it's like, they're so fun and they're so likable. And I look at their stuff and I'm like, I feel like I know them immediately. And so whenever you don't have that defined, it feels basically like the opposite, where you're like, which I have so many interests, like which one am I going to throw out there? And like, is it this one? And it's not that one. And it's like in real life, in relationships, or when I meet people, it's become a superpower. And that's what I want to come back around to. But like, you can find whatever combination of you works with whatever combination of this person in front of you. And so you can see if someone is defined and their G, they'd be like almost that would almost be ghastly to them, maybe like they don't understand it, they can't understand what that means exactly. But for us it's like most likely it's already become a way of life. And so I think the shadow here could be potentially manipulative, or definitely like codependency, because it's almost like we're just water poured into, like we fit whatever container we're poured into, so let's pick the best container. But like in relationships, you can be poured into a container of a relationship, right? And then you just kind of fit into what that is and what you need to be. And like I said, if you're with someone who is defined there, that could seem incredibly wrong to them. But when you understand it more for yourself, you realize like that is who you are and that is how you are. So one of the conversations I had was the person I was speaking with, they were like, well, I just want to, like, I need to know my identity, like in business. Like, I just need to find out what it is. And I was like, you're not going to. Like, that is your identity, is that you don't have one. But, you know, what I'm jumping in here to talk about and what I'm wanting to say is all the different aspects of that and all the healing that can take place around that and all the ways it can kind of rear its head without you thinking that that would be what it is. So I'm going to get to that in a second. But first, I'm just trying to say, like, the superpower here, and if we tie it back into business, the superpower is like you make people comfortable. Like you can innately make them just as comfortable as they can be, you know, like that is really amazing. That is a really amazing thing to bring to your people and to your guests and to your clients. And then in business too, you know, the one size fits all is basically like you have to have this and you have to do it that way, and it's like if your G is undefined, that is not going to feel good to you and it's not going to make any sense to you. And what I'm seeing and sensing is the way that bubbles up is it's pressure. So I was feeling all this pressure right here when I was feeling like, especially on Instagram, I'm a 1-4. And so Instagram, it was going to give me almost nothing back as far as like, you know, something that you can be like, oh, I have a business. Like, this is my business. No, there was nothing for me like that on Instagram. And then I'm like trying all these different things and none of that's really working out. And so that pressure was just building right here in my G center. So all that to say, I'm working through that here again. That was this weekend. And, that line, let me see, what was it again? I lose orientation when I'm not in energetic relationship with something. I lose orientation. So like I was saying, get used to not having an identity, which it goes back to what we're always saying in here, which is like, just relax into these things. There's no thinking to be had. There's just relaxing into this and understanding it deeper and deeper. So if I lose orientation when I'm not in an energetic relationship with something, that's because my G is undefined. Like I don't have connection to energy there. And on top of that, I'm a generator, so I'm here to respond. So if I don't have something to respond to and I don't have communication like in the group, if everything feels like it's falling flat, like I'm going to get a lot of pressure here again, because I'm like, you know, I'm trying to find something to hold on to connect to. And if I don't have anything stimulating me, then it feels like there's nothing there, which feels like this was never, you know, going to be successful endeavor for me, which feels like, oh, I should just give up, which feels like, oh, I should have never started, which feels like, you know, it's like, and so then that becomes the day, just like clouds, you know, and this G is going to show up in lots of different ways, but that is one of them. And so what's interesting too is you can go back into your G and look into the gene keys for any gate that you have defined in your G. So mine is 13, which is very much like listening deeply. And that's what's beautiful about this work. You can know that about yourself, but then when it's shown to you and it's like, this is your gift, use it in your business with the people that you help, you know, then you get to have that come to the forefront. And we're always talking about being magnetic. And it's like, that's where the magnetism comes from, is like not having that floating around back here in your tool shed somewhere. You know, you're like, no, this is what I do and who I am and how I offer what I do. And I just want to remind us again that this all comes back to relaxing. And whenever we feel the pressure building, like we can figure out what it is. And as soon as I figured out it was my G, because the G is so like, and the centers are all kind of like that for me. They're like, I don't know, kind of airy fairy. Like it's like you just have to have a sense of what they are. You can like read out specifically what each center is for, or what the energy there is. but that doesn't mean that you necessarily have a sense of it. For me, that's all coming from all the charts that I've looked at. I've like, my brain wants to create these patterns anyway. So it's like, those are the patterns that I'm looking at and feeling my way through. But when my G was disturbed, when it was like, I don't have anything to hold on to, I don't have anything to conform to, I don't have anything, I don't have a container. I just noticed all these other things bubbling up too. And like I said, it feels like your business is failing. But that can also absolutely, if you don't relax into it, if you don't be like, this is part of a breakthrough, there's something on the other side of this, there's something being birthed, you know, if you instead jump into the brain and like trying to fix it and trying to solve it and trying to, you know, correct it with strategy is what we keep talking about, you are going to be more frustrated if you're a generator or a Manny-Gen. You're going to be exhausted if you're a projector or a manifester or a reflector. It's gonna, like, those are the types of things that bring in the burnout. That's where that's coming from. I'm looking at my notes here, seeing if there's anything else I want. Yeah, okay, so that's it. So the undefined G can start looking for identity through intensity. And if that makes any sense to you at all, if that stirs anything, like download your chart. I'll give you the link below. Download your chart and look and see right now if you have this undefined G. I become myself through transformation. So I'm like addicted to transformation instead of just being like, you know, I'm here. This is it. I've done what I need to do. Like, yes, we're going to cycle through all this again. Right here in this moment, I've done what I came to do. Yeah, this one too. I know who I am through what I survive. Like, again, that addiction to almost like the hamster wheel, needing to find direction through emotional intensity. I feel like that just explained so much for me. Like I'm needing the struggle and I'm needing, because it's like what's orienting me, you know, like whenever I have one more thing I need to figure out, constantly searching for the missing piece, looking for another breakthrough. But what's funny and ironic is like that was the breakthrough. Just letting more come in here. So like I said, I'm a 1-4. So it's not even that I'm going to stop learning. It's just that like I need to stand and know that I am complete and I am whole. And that's kind of the balance and the dance that we have to do with human design. Like, yes, there's this really crucial information that you need to understand about yourself, but don't get the information and then spaz out on it, you know, get the information and then relax into it and let these things come to you. Yeah, so for me with this undefined G again, it's like you're constantly searching for what's not going to be there. And we're never going to be in this version of ourselves that's just like perfectly solved and never has any further issues to dive into or to understand, or we're never going to be triggered again. But I think that your business's medicine comes up again as staying connected to yourself and using human design to come back to deeper understanding and relaxation. Our brain can grab hold of anything and turn it into another reason for it to exist, raison d'être. And let's remind ourselves that it's a playful experiment, that this learning experiment is not ever going to be or mean failure. It's going to mean that we're just continuing to evolve and continuing to feel and deepen that self-trust. And that there absolutely are breakthroughs for us. Like I had this breakthrough with this G Center. And that's what was bubbling up for me. But at the same time, that's the conundrum. Like that's the catch-22 is like, I found it in the G, but I also could have kept looking forever. So I think that's a really interesting component of it right here. I had another breakthrough. And it was basically right now, I just noticed that all of my clients right now they have all been healers for like decades. This isn't something that they're new to. I'm not like introducing them to concepts. We're just having conversations that just went straight into the deep end. And so I'm realizing like, and I think that I knew this, but I'm revisiting it again with more clarity. And it's like, okay, if you're totally new to all of this, you can absolutely start with human design and just start jumping in and have so much fun. And there's going to be a lot for you there in a way that's really safe, but really powerful. But if you have studied lots of different things and you've been healing for many, many years, if you're new to human design, we can start there. But if you have heard of human design or you know your human design, I would take you into gene keys from there. But either way, it's a continuation of where you already are. It's not something that's like backwards or, beneath you. It's like the thing that's been waiting for you. And this is the message right here. It's been waiting for you. You heard about it and you didn't really know what it was, or you thought it was something that maybe it isn't. That was me too. But the easiest place to start right now is your clear next step is the session that I have. And it's really easy because it's not on Zoom. It's just in Messenger with voice notes. So sometimes people are messaging me back, but sometimes they're just typing their message back, and that works too. But we can absolutely find a ton of clarity there and really understand, especially if you don't know your human design. That's going to be a really great place to start to figure out what it actually means, but not in a way that's like on paper, in a way that's like true to you and unique in the way that only it could be for you. And so this is the kind of stuff that's, without understanding that what the G Center is like, and it's so hard to even articulate anyways. It's such a feelings based, intuitively led. And it's giving you the tools and the language to have names and insight on the patterns that you're probably sensing. Like if you've done years and years of deep inner work, you are sensing these things, but those patterns are probably still running the show because you don't have the name for it yet. You're potentially assuming what it is, then it might not be. That's what this G Center thing was for me. I'm like running through all the things, it bubbled up and I felt it, and I'm running through all the things it could be, and it's like, it's this thing that's so hard to even grasp, but I sense it and I know it now and I see it. And as soon as that happened, back into alignment. And the thing too is that it can be so hard to see that yourself. So your coach has a coach, your healer has a healer, your therapist has a therapist. And honestly, my gene keys showed me that the pattern recognition is what I do. So that's just, we're putting the situation or the business in front of my brain so my brain can be like, oh, you mean it's like this? Because my brain wants to see the pattern. But there's no shame. There's just only safety and clarity and deep amounts of self-trust. So if you're interested in exploring the patterns in your business, seeing if your G is defined or not, and then seeing what other information we can pull from that. Your Clear Next Step is a great place to start. It's $27 for an hour, and we will absolutely be untangling all of this. I'll definitely meet you where you are. And like I said, the 13 for me and my G is basically like the reason I'm able to do that, see the pattern, is because I'm also able to listen deeply. And yeah, let's just gently look around and see what's feeling stuck or heavy or sticky, or it might not even be at that point. It might just feel like there's something somewhere. And if that's you, just DM me Step and we'll reconnect and get you with that next aligned step on its way forward. I hope everyone's having a great weekend, and I will talk to you super soon.